everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. I have not done a live except an hour or two ago of my running around my parking lot. It's Thanksgiving. I'm home by myself. I am in the best mood. It's spectacular. A friend of mine came today. She's a partner of mine in my trading of Forex, and we meet 3 times a week to work on our trading skills. So that was fun. We have a blast together. By the way, we're putting together a group of from or religious or otherwise women traders, and you're all invited to ask me about it. PM me and I'll give you the deets. The other thing is, don't you love my shirt? I wish you could see it. It's got so many colors, and look at the details. It's so fabulous. The stripes are on the bottom too. Anyway, I have been having this thought about reading my book to you. So I'm going to give it a go. Now, the weird part is that my printer's broken, so I have to read it off my computer, and I'm going to look at the computer while I read to you. But I think you'll like it. I like it. And as long as any creative work that you do, that you put out into the world, continues to resonate with you, it's good. It doesn't matter what other people say, think, if I still really like it. So the book is called Confidence and Dignity, What You Need to Know and Hacks to Get There by Chana Gilman. That's me. And the intention is that I am certain this book will absolutely touch and change the lives of any woman that reads it. Implementing even one idea will impact her in life-changing ways. Ladies, I've done all of these things for myself. My life is completely different today. The acknowledgments, I'm grateful to Hashem, God, for allowing me to print my 3rd book. Yes, I have 2 other books on Amazon. And I'm trying to see if I'm looking in the right place. But I thank my sons for being my greatest teachers and supporters. I also thank my teachers, too many to name, and my clients, fans, and followers. You are uniquely beautiful women. And I do understand that there's some men that are in my world, so you're uniquely great too. My story. Hello, beautiful. For many years, I knew something was off in my life, just like I'm sure you do. When I look at you, it means that I am talking to you. When I'm looking over there, I'm reading. I have a large presence and knew that much of what I achieved in my life was from the sheer force of my personality. In my work with women, I realized that I was not alone in my sense of lack of confidence and self-esteem. One of the main social malaise of society today for women is lack of confidence. This leads to the fact that women do not trust themselves to make right decisions. A report in the New York Times said that women today are more successful and accomplished than any other time in history and are more unhappy than ever. What's up with that? To put us all on the same page, I looked up the definitions of confidence and self-esteem. Confidence is full trust, belief in the powers, trustworthiness, and reliability of a person or thing. Self-esteem is a realistic respect or favorable impression of oneself, self-respect. Excuse me. The truth is, we all, humans, suffer from a low self-esteem in one area or another. We often confuse self-esteem with talents and skill. Many of us do not feel talented or skilled in areas and feel unworthy because of it. To make up for that lack of confidence, for that lack in ourselves, this is not a topic that we speak too much about. I for sure wasn't going around telling my friends and colleagues how unsure I was of myself. After all, I'd had a public persona to keep together. This also contributed to my imposter syndrome for another time. Before I was married, at 40, I always worked in the fashion business. I had my own business and traveled 3 times a year for the fashion weeks to Milan, Paris, and then New York. The day I left, that was my Devil Wears Prada moment, I flew out of Milan and never looked back. I was then hired by Anne Klein too, ran the company, and worked with Donna Karan for 8 years. I was the it girl of the 80s, and I never owned that either. Talk about the imposter syndrome. I never went on job interviews because I didn't believe I could transfer my skills. I was very good to another company. I had become a compulsive overeater at 13. I lived in Manhattan and secretly went to OA meetings. This was as I was older, working at Anne Klein. Excuse me. That was where I learned the power of sharing. I will be forever grateful to my sponsors. It also led me back to my Jewish heritage, and I became religious on the job at Anne Klein. They were supportive, and that led me to visit Israel and to take a year off, which they gave me a full year leave of absence for, to study at Neve Yerushalayim, a college for Jewish women in Jerusalem. After a year, I returned to the U.S. and to Anne Klein too. They took me back to, off of the book, they brought me back to run what was the Petites division. 3 months later after my return, I accepted the position to become the executive director of Neve, the college in Israel, in America. I married at 40 and had my 2 sons at 41 and 42. When our oldest was 3, we moved to Israel, where I raised my boys. I became a speaker in Israel for American girls in gap year for seminary. I also became an international public speaker for the next 18 years. However, if you didn't know me, you didn't find me. I never advertised myself. As my marriage was unraveling, I became more stalwart in not showing the world what I was going through. I had to keep up appearances no matter what. The physical stress on my body was devastating. I was like a caged animal, prowling in my cramped cage of isolation. You could say I was one hot mess. Just after 20 years of marriage, we divorced. A year later, I returned to the States to be near my elderly parents and my youngest son. My oldest son has chosen to remain in Israel with his family. By the way, he's married, and I have 2 beautiful granddaughters in Israel. That is when my journey on the inside of myself truly began, the true work that needed to be done. When you do this inner spiritual, not religious work, it entails so much. I literally went off the grid and went dark, as they say. I studied, I journaled, I listened to hundreds of hours of audio from thought leaders and my religious teachers. Slowly, I began to emerge, much like a butterfly. I shed my old limited beliefs and thought processes and learned how my thoughts were driving my life in every self-sabotaging way. And like you, this was mainly all subconscious. 3 years ago, as I write this in the COVID-19 of 2020, I knew I had cracked the code. I have always had coaches and mentors and been part of mastermind groups, some better than others. I realized one day that if not now, when? And I maxed out 2 credit cards and hired a coach that did the trick. I began doing Facebook Live videos, talk about needing confidence, and have become a coach to many women. Remember I said if you didn't know me, you didn't find me? Today I have well over 300 live videos on Facebook. This book is an accumulation of what I believe were crucial steps for me in regaining my confidence and dignity. I am known as the Relationship Mastery Mentor. For me, the main relationship we have and the one we treat the worst is with ourselves. Many older women, like me and you, live alone. Trust me when I tell you it behooves you to become your own best friend. I'm so excited for you to embark on this journey with me, and so happy that you made the decision to invest in yourself. That is the true beginning of healing, knowing that you are worth it. As the saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Don't let this be more shelf-help book in your library. Decide right now that you will see this through. You owe it to yourself. How to get the most out of this book. Get a journal and take notes. Write down aha moments. What you will walk away with and implement daily. Commit to being open even if you think you already know this. That is a killer of any learning. Notice your areas of resistance and write down anything you feel upset by. This is particularly important, and you will feel it in your energy and nervous system. These sensations, which you think are negative, are not, and they are showing you an area that needs work. It is precisely these points that may be the most important part of your journey. Avoid the yeah buts. If you hear yourself poo-pooing a concept, these are likely the same thoughts that you use to sabotage yourself daily. Stay open and pay attention. Take responsibility for creating the results you want. Set your intentions, act, and implement what you learned. And most importantly, plan for your freak out. Yes, you will freak out. Fear always preempts change, and that's why change is scary. Your brain, where your ego lives, only and always wants you to feel safe. In other words, do not rock the boat. It's so uncomfortable. You don't need this now. Do you buy things like this book, programs, whatever, and then early on or midway through freak out? What do your freakouts look like? What is your thought process? Where do you feel it in your body? What will you do when it comes up that you can plan and prepare for in advance? Get your journal and write all this down now before we start. The key is to be ready to throw your fears to the curb. After all, we all have them. Some of us just don't believe them anymore. Now, let's get started. Change your thoughts, change your life. Throughout my own journey, I have learned the absolute thing that kills confidence is our mindset, our thinking, our thoughts. The truth is, people don't think about what they think about. Our thoughts become emotionalized, and because we feel our emotions so deeply, we believe them as truth. When we feel something so strongly, it's always felt in our bodies, usually as aches and pains. I get a pit in my stomach, or what feels like a brick on my chest. I was an overeater, gained weight, and the joint pain was almost unbearable for years. What's yours? And then we self-medicate to not feel the feelings in our body. We want to flatline ourselves. Remember, don't rock the boat. You need to be safe at all costs. This is one of the many cycles that eat away at self-esteem. Why? Because you never let yourself win. How can you possibly feel confident if you're constantly throwing in the towel and failing again? I used to believe this is the most important golden nugget. If it feels good, it is good. Diversion from the book for a minute. That is a huge lie in the personal development world. It is a lie. Back to the book. Now I know that is half the story. It's when it doesn't feel good is where the work is to be done. Yes, half a story I learned from so many well-meaning coaches and mentors that just repeated what they learned from their teachers. Today I know the truth of that. Today I fully understand that it is precisely when I feel that negative, energetic feeling in my body, the anxious feeling, the pit in my stomach, that something is up, that pit in my stomach, that something is up and I need to look at it. That is precisely what needs the work and to clear the shadow. It is not to eliminate the feeling, so I just feel good. That doesn't work because it always just comes back again. This is just managing my emotions and keeping me wrong for feeling that, rather than clearing the issues that create the feeling. Can you see that? Today it's shadow work. All shadows are, this is not in the book, all shadows are lies. They feel like sheet. It's anxiety, it's fear, it's sadness, it's totally lowered, disempowered feelings. And they can be alchemized. And those are what you feel in your body and your nervous system. It's not to, I'm going to read this again. It's not to eliminate the feeling so that I'll just feel good. Excuse me. That doesn't work, and it just always comes back because all we're really doing is what's called shadow management. That is just managing my emotions and keeping me wrong from feeling that, rather than clearing the issues, the shadows, that create the feeling. Can you see that? What is your first thought on reading that? Oh, Chana, isn't that selfish? I'll tell you, yes, it is. And that's the difference between your lack of confidence and my having confidence. The more confidence you have, the more you will realize that you must come first. And that can only happen by acknowledging yourself. I know this is very counterintuitive for you because it was for me too. Stay with me. How are you doing in your body right now? If you're uncomfortable with this, we've hit a target. My whole life, I was told I was too sensitive, selfish, and know-it-all. You know, and how it goes, the share your toys mantra. We all believed it. As young women, we were trained almost from birth to make the big people happy, or else. It continued in our lives with teachers and social groups at school. Is it any wonder that you're the queen of people-pleasing and pretzeling? Excuse me. My guess is you've known for a long time that something was off for you in your emotional GPS. Off energy is always felt in your bodies. I knew it, and I became a compulsive overeater, a bitch. Knowing it did not really help me. It just created the cycle of prowling like that caged animal between my being passive and angry. I would operate on best behavior that, by the way, can last only about 6 to 8 weeks. Then the anger would bleed out in such inappropriate ways. It always bleeds out. Then I would slink back to passive. Sound familiar? Angry, passive, and around we go. What I learned was how unstable my emotional platform was, always looking for validation from outside of myself. I learned how imperative it is to create a solid emotional platform. Emotional mastery. Does that mean I never feel bad, never get triggered, angry, or yell? Not at all. It means that all of that is so far and few between today that when it happens, I'm not off track for longer than an hour, maybe a day at most. I recognize it as my shadow. It just depends how long I choose to milk the situation. In my journey, I've identified areas that I never knew I was allowing to have terrible impact on my self-esteem. They were areas operating from my subconscious mind. This is where our habitual behaviors come from. Habits are just beliefs we think over and over. And because they are repetitive, we believe them. Let me see how much I want to keep reading because I'm going to read just one more area and then I'll stop for the day. This is fun for me. Tamara, hello. Mauricio, Esther, hi everybody who's here. I'm so happy you joined me. Self-esteem, real confidence. How does it affect us? Lack of self-esteem discourages growth. Lack of confidence is the #1 problem in our society today. This affects every area of a person's life. Hey, Lori! This affects every area of a person's life. Health, personal relationships, finances, you name it. And the outcome is twofold for women. Women are more successful today than ever before in the history of mankind, and they have never been unhappier. Women today do not trust themselves to make right decisions and choices in their lives. High-level self-esteem encourages you to try. Confidence allows you to manage stress, speak our truth, think clearly, make more money, respond, and not react. We care less about what others think of us. We don't need to check with 14 friends if you should, buy that, date him, quit the job, take the job, punish the kid or the husband. Sound familiar? Here are the areas that I identified in my own life that ate away and affected my lack of confidence and dignity. Do you like this? I love it. Perspective. This is a very big one for everyone. Who is that? Hi, whoever's watching. This is a very, very big one for everyone. Perspective. For anything to change, you must change. Change your thoughts, change your life. We live life through the lens of the perspective we have on anything. Your perspective is the lens through which you view life. Perspective is performed through your expectations. Perspective is formed through your expectations. And expectations is a thought with a belief behind it. Life is filled with all we need. It's not lack that we're suffering. It's not lack we're suffering from, but an existential feeling that this is less than we expected it to be. Women think it's their circumstances that create their moods. It isn't. It's how you think about your circumstances that create your emotions and how you feel about anything in your body. Women often choose to live in their disappointments. I'm going to read that one again. Women often choose to live in their disappointments and therefore will defend their worthiness through pain and suffering. You wear it like a badge of honor. You must realize that your problems aren't your problems. It's how you think about your situations and circumstances that create the problems in your mind. You can choose to live with curiosity and wonder rather than upset at what someone says or does by asking better questions. What did you mean by that? Why did you say that or do that? What were you thinking when you said that, did that? That upset me, but I wonder what you really meant by that. Oh, how many of us beautiful women off the book, if we would have said that one sentence, would have spared ourselves such agony throughout our lives. That upset me, but I wonder what you really meant by that. I love Brene Brown's question. This is the story I'm making up right now. Am I right? In any situation, there are always at least two perspectives, yours and theirs. Yours is not always right. So here's an exercise bonus. Grab that journal. I have no doubt that memories are popping up right now. Write them down. Think back to a recent or not so recent upset that you experienced with another person. Recall the exchange. For this exercise, I want you to come to the experience with a new and different perspective. What could you have thought differently? Or Rita, hi. What could you have thought differently with a new perspective? What could you have thought differently? What questions might you have asked with new perspective? Journal how you could have seen things differently if you weren't so quick to respond or emotionalize the experience. And now write the different outcome you could have had. I think I'll stop there. This is from my book, Confidence and Dignity. Let me go back to the tagline because I don't remember it. Confidence and Dignity, What You Need to Know and Hacks to Get There. You can find it on Amazon, or you can just put in author Chana Gilman and look for the book. I don't know how much, I think it's $15, something like that. I hope you'll buy it. Maybe I'll come back and do another reading. This was fun. Let me know in the comments what you think, because I really like it. I enjoyed it. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I can't see who's on here or comments, so I will answer and respond in them. I'm doing well. My son got married 2 months ago, and Mazel Tov, congratulations. I'm still looking for my husband. I don't know where he is, but I know he's there. PM me if you've got any great ideas. Happy to be very transparent with who I am and what I would like. And that's it. I'm having a blast today. I ran around my apartment building twice, the complex. There's a video below for that. As I said, I worked with my trading partner in Forex. We trade on the foreign currency exchange, and it's a skill set everyone should have. Our goal with it is to move to Israel, and this will be how we will make a living. I love you. You are beautiful women. Bye, everybody. It's so good to be with you. Bye.